$60 million, hidden in shadows. Now the money trail leads straight to the top. Dark money exposed.
Senator Josh Hawley just accused Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison of committing perjury under oath during a fraud hearing. We're talking about $250 million in taxpayer money stolen, and Hawley claims Ellison lied to cover his tracks. It's all on tape, and what you're about to hear will blow your mind. Now, this is not just another political spat. No. This is about your tax dollars being funneled to criminals while the very people supposed to protect you actively helped the thieves. Keith Ellison, the top law enforcement officer in Minnesota, allegedly took campaign cash from fraudsters who stole $250 million from programs meant to feed children. When they came begging for help to get investigators off their backs, Ellison reportedly said, "Send me the names and I'll call them off." And now he's lying about it under oath. If our own attorneys general are this corrupt, who's protecting the American people? This corruption goes straight to the heart of why our system is broken and why outsiders like Trump face such vicious opposition from the establishment. Speaking of corruption and protecting yourself from a rigged system, something is brewing and you can feel it. Corrupt attorneys general taking bribes, billion-dollar fraud schemes, officials lying under oath. The problem? Well, you never know the full story until after the crash, after the collapse, after it's too late. And here's the brutal truth. You can't protect yourself after. You have to be ready right now. All this uncertainty, the chaos, the warning signs may be telling you something about our financial system. When corruption runs this deep, when officials are this compromised, smart Americans diversify into gold. Noble Gold Investments helps patriots protect their wealth from a system designed to rob you blind. Visit nextnewsgold.com. You'll find the link in the description, because while they're stealing from feeding programs, you need to protect what is yours. Now back to this bombshell testimony. This is where it gets even worse. It wasn't just about taking dirty money. The fraudsters literally came to Ellison's office and begged him to call off state investigators, and incredibly, he agreed. And it's all on tape. Ellison promised to get the list of investigators and personally call them off. 9 days later, he pocketed 10 grand from these same criminals. Now, check this out. The testimony in Congress today was off the charts. Seamus Brunner, shocks the Senate with bombshell testimony. Are you ready for this? This is where it gets crazy. This is where it all starts. At least $60 million in dark money funding the Minnesota insurrection. All the riots and the chaos that's been unfolding. We've told you it's been funded by dark money. Well, now we have it on the record, under oath, in the halls of Congress. The usual suspects, of course, Soros.
Organization specializes in following nonprofit funding and organizational networks. So based on your research, what organizations have been active on the ground in Minnesota? What can you tell us?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, we have tracked over $60 million, according to the latest 990 disclosures, to approximately 14 groups, some of them national, others on the ground. Groups like the ACLU provide the legal defense, as well as facilitate the trainings for some of the tactics that Senator Corrin just described. A group named Democracy Forward. Take Action Minnesota has gotten over $10 million from these large NGO networks, including the Neville Roy Singham Network, Indivisible, National Lawyers Guild, CTUL, the Council on American Islamic Relations Minnesota, CARE, Minnesota 350, Voices for Racial Justice, on and on. Like I said, over $60 million just according to the latest 990 disclosures.
$60 million, at least 14 different groups. That sounds like a pretty broad ecosystem here. Where's this money coming from? I mean, how is it flowing to these groups? Do you have any sense?
So we've built a database that contains hundreds of thousands of rows from grants from networks like the Soros Network, the Arabella Funding Network, as mentioned, the Neville Roy Singham Funding Network, many others, Tides, the Ford Foundation Network, the Rockefeller Funding Network, these massive NGOs that have billions of dollars to spend on all kinds of coordinated protest, or in this case, riot activity.
Riot activity. Sounds criminal to me. The bombshell testimony about dark money sets the stage for why Hawley is going nuclear on Ellison. Follow the money, and you'll see why the hearing got so explosive. Hawley tears into Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison during heated hearing on Capitol Hill. Listen to this.
Whistleblowers came to you as early as 2019. Let's look. As early as 2019, whistleblower. Don't talk over me. As early as 2019, it's my hearing, pal. As early as 2019.
Don't call me
whistleblowers came to, well, I should call you prisoner because you ought to be in jail.
Well, we'll see what you can do about
it. See what you can do about it. He's challenging him. The arrogance of this bastard. Unbelievable. Hawley's aggression is not random. He's building to his knockout punch about perjury. You can see Ellison already getting rattled under pressure. Ron Johnson ripping the Minnesota AG Keith Ellison to his face. 2 people are dead because you encouraged them.
As a government official, would have said, back off. Let us work with ICE. Let's cooperate with them. Let's see if we can't de-escalate this. But Attorney General, you did the exact opposite. And 2 people are dead because you encouraged them to put themselves into harm's way. And now you're exploiting those 2 martyrs. That was a tragedy. It never should have happened. Now, we can investigate, but I can't imagine being a law enforcement official where I know my colleagues have been shot at, their vehicles rammed, that there are trained activists deployed. And by the way, we know at least one of those activists had a semi-automatic pistol with extra clips. So now you're an ICE officer, you're doing enforcement action, you've got a team behind you trying to protect you, you've got all these trained activists behind you. Is it any wonder they're at hair trigger alert? A tragedy was going to happen, and you encouraged it. And you ought to feel damn guilty about it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, sit there and smirk. Smirk. It's sick. It is despicable.
Are you asking me for comment, Senator? Because everything you said was untrue. It was a nice theatrical performance, but it was all lies.
Senator Hassan.
You disgust me.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Smirking at him, too, and now Johnson piling on shows this is a coordinated Republican attack. They're softening Ellison up before Hawley drops the fraud bombshell. Hawley demands criminal indictment of Minnesota AG Keith Ellison. Listen to this. This is the full exchange.
$9 billion in historic fraud out of your state, including the $250 million in the Feeding Our Future program alone. You familiar with that? Don't turn to the pages in your book to get your potted answers. Are you familiar with it? Yes or no?
Yes, I am familiar with it.
Very familiar, aren't you? Because the people who ran the Feeding Our Futures program came to you in your official office in the state capitol December 11th, 2021, and asked for your help in getting investigators off their backs. They complained to you for upwards of an hour about state investigators going after them, and they begged you to help them, and you agreed to it, amazingly. And we know you did.
That's not
because
true.
It's all caught on tape.
Yeah,
Every single sentence is caught on tape. Here's what you said. Let's take a look.
Obviously, you didn't listen
said,
to the
it's not
tape.
a question. You said to them, send me the names of all these folks who are investigating them. You said to them, send me their names. And I'll take that list and I'll call the person over at Education who is investigating them and say, what's going on? Why am I getting these complaints? Then he went on to say, I already have my team working on this. What day should we get together to discuss it again? You made pledge after pledge to them. You said, we've got to make sure this guy who's investigating them stops it. You said, you have my attention. I'm concerned about this. You said, let's go fight these people, meaning the people who were investigating the fraud. Why'd you do it? Why'd you help them?
Are you going to let me answer?
Please, we're all ears.
So first of all, you're cherry picking quotes out of there.
Why did you help them?
I thought you were going to let me answer.
Why did you
Are you
help
going to let
them?
me answer?
Why did you help
You
them?
let me answer and I'll answer you.
Tell the truth and I'll let you answer.
I will tell the truth.
Good.
Let's do that.
That'd be a nice change. Why'd you help them?
Now see, Mr. Chairman, I didn't come here to be insulted. I came here voluntarily.
You came here for the truth. Let's have it. Why did you help them? The quotes are here. They're in black and white, and every member of this audience can listen to the recording. It's 54 minutes long. It's all in public. You can Google it right now and listen to it.
And listen to it all.
Why'd you help them?
First of all, I didn't help them.
You did help them.
No, I did not. I certainly didn't.
You're saying you didn't do anything for them. You didn't.
Well, wait a minute.
I already have my team working on this again. That's not you?
I have my team assisted with the information that led to the prosecution and conviction of these people.
No, you didn't. You didn't lift a finger to prosecute them. No, you did not. You didn't lift a finger to prosecute them.
Federal prosecution.
You had, BS. You had whistleblowers come to you as early as 2019.
You're the one talking BS.
Hey, listen, it's my time.
Doesn't know what you're talking about, sir.
No, sir. You now have encountered the truth and you don't like it. Why'd you take their money? Why'd you take their money?
I didn't.
You took $10,000.
No, that's a false statement.
$10,000 9 days after the meeting.
False statement.
You took $10,000. Here's what happened. They went to your office.
They
solicited money from you. They solicited help from you.
That's also wrong.
They came to your office. It was your official office. You met with them for 54 minutes.
No, they didn't.
They asked you for help. You pledged it to them, and they talked repeatedly about money. In fact, it's all they talked about.
That's a lie.
Money, 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 money. They said, we will put our dollars in the right place. We will support candidates that will fight to protect our interests. You replied, that's right. They said, if you are securing your donor base and securing your power base, you can act the way you want. You replied, money is freedom. They said the amount of money circulating, I'm reading the transcript, the amount of money circulating in our community today is powerful, and we haven't realizing it in a meaningful way. And you said, give me the specifics. And 9 days later, you took $10,000 from people who were then indicted. It's in your reports. Why'd you do it?
Sir,
was it worth it?
You know what? This is a theatrical performance.
This is the truth. This is what accountability looks like, of which you've had none. You helped fraudsters defraud your state and this government of $9 billion, and you got a fat campaign contribution out of it. You ought to be indicted.
True. Well,
that's the truth.
I think we've made the point. Let's keep the tenor just
for the record.
I'll ask how I want to,
he's lying,
Paul.
and that's
Wow. Fireworks on Capitol Hill today. And that is just the appetizer. Okay. Keep going here. Here's where Hawley connects the dots. It's not just about heated exchanges. It's about alleged criminal behavior and campaign cash from fraudsters. Here is the Minnesota Attorney General just perjured himself when I asked why he took campaign donations from crooks who defrauded the U.S. taxpayer to the tune of $250 million. Josh Hawley himself saying he should be indicted and he should be prosecuted.
Ellison, let me start with you. You're the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota. Do I have that correct? That's a yes?
Sir, you're aware of my job. You know the answer to that.
You're not going to answer my questions? Are we going to start this way? Are you the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota, yes or no?
You know the answer.
Mr. Ellison, you're in my courtroom now. You're under oath. So I suggest that you answer my questions. You the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the state of Minnesota, yes or no? Let's try another question. Are you familiar with the $9 billion in historic fraud out of your state, including the $250 million in the Feeding Our Future program alone? You familiar with that? Don't turn to the pages in your book to get your potted answers. Are you familiar with it? Yes or no?
Yes, I am familiar with it.
Very familiar, aren't you? Because the...
What an arrogant prick. Hawley dropping the perjury bomb we've been building to, but notice he's not done yet. Republicans keep the pressure coming to completely destroy Ellison's credibility. Minnesota AG Ellison testifies under oath that the rampant fraud in his state is a political matter and not a serious thing. Listen.
Well, Ellison, under your watch, unfortunately, Minnesota has achieved the largest COVID fraud scheme in American history. Under your watch, those whistleblowers who brought attention to the fraud and waste in your state faced retaliation. Under your watch, billions of tax dollars intended for unemployment insurance, supporting hungry children, just as described, children with autism, providing housing for the most vulnerable, keeping small businesses afloat through COVID, and more were instead, all of those dollars were funneled away into fraudulent schemes. So last month in an interview with CNN, you were asked if your office has done enough to stop the fraud. And you responded, "Of course we've done enough." And this is a quote, "Of course we've done enough. And we're doing more every single day. This is a political matter. This is not a serious thing." Those are your words.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my words, all right. Not a serious thing. The fraud allegations are devastating, but watch how Ellison's own words under oath make him look even worse. He's about to stumble badly on basic questions. Listen to this. Oh, this is good. This is good.
Had a good faith basis to say they would be persecuted in their home country. And Senator, what if they had a good faith?
The question is, Mexico and Canada, do you consider those to be safe countries?
Senator, what if they had a good faith basis to say they would be persecuted in their home country and subjected to real oppression there? Under international law, there are provisions for them to make a case.
That's a phenomenal point. Mexico and Canada, do you consider those to be safe countries or no?
Generally, I do, but there are certain
generally you do?
Well, I mean, I would just say this.
You border Canada. Don't insult your neighbors to the north.
No, I love my neighbors to the north.
Well, so is it a generally safe country?
Generally, yes.
So then somebody seeking asylum could certainly be safe in Canada and Mexico, no?
Now, so like if somebody, we do know that in Mexico, which is another country I truly admire and think is a wonderful country, but there have been cases of persecution, people who have legitimate fear.
So people aren't safe in Mexico? Refugees cannot be safe in Mexico?
Some might not be. And I think, and what I'm saying,
maybe
Senator,
we shouldn't have a free trade agreement with them then.
I didn't say that, but what I would say, Senator, is that we should hear their petition. Gotcha. We should at least hear it out. We should say, is there a well-founded and legitimate fear of persecution in your home country?
That can't happen in Mexico?
Well, I think that she should just follow the international protocols that existed. And
it is, which is that you seek asylum in your nearest country that you are seeking asylum in.
Yeah, Ellison stumbling on simple questions about Mexico and Canada shows how rattled he is, but his next answer about Minneapolis police is about to get even more damaging. Minnesota AG Keith Ellison claims Minneapolis police assist with ICE arrests. Oh, is that right?
Thank you all for your testimony. I think there is a way we can get beyond, our differences on immigration and our differences on approach. And I think, but we have to look at this in a broad scope and try to leave some of that aside. I think there is no justification for bad behavior from law enforcement, whether it's your local police or others. It has to be investigated, it needs to be corrected. You have to change your policies. You have to announce that you're going to do a better job. But I think there is an explanation for why there's 3,000 ICE agents in Minnesota. One explanation has been put forward was vindictive. Maybe, I don't know for sure, but I do know that if you tell people preemptively that your local police will not cooperate, so if ICE calls you up and says to Minneapolis, we have a guy, we're just presuming it's a guy because more bad people out there, unfortunately, are men than women. It's a guy, this bad guy, we want to pick him up. He's been convicted of an assault and he now needs to be deported. If the policy of Minneapolis is not to cooperate at all, I mean, there's going to be a real problem, and then they're going to say we need more ICE agents. So what happens right now, Mr. Ellison, Attorney General Ellison, if I'm from ICE and I call Minneapolis and I say, John Smith is wanted and will you help us? Could we have 10 Minneapolis policemen go with 1 or 2 agents and arrest him? Or do we have to have 12 agents and no Minneapolis police? What happens?
Well, under Minnesota statute 631.50, anybody convicted of a felony who's in custody must be questioned about their nationality.
That's in custody. That's sort of a different question.
Okay.
I'm talking about somebody who's in the community and they need help arresting this person.
Right, but you said felony, so
You're right.
that's what
And
maybe.
that's a different, we'll talk about that. But let's talk about somebody they want help, and is the local police force going to give them help, or do they have to bring in all ICE agents to do it?
Certainly targeted enforcement is not the problem, as has been said.
But I think that's what has been said of some of your policies, and the interpretation is that they don't have to and won't cooperate with ICE.
Well, Mr. Chairman, first of all, they're not my policies, just so all the members of the committee know. When you see advice or an advisory opinion coming from the Attorney General's office, this is not my opinion. It is the lawyers in my office's, my best analysis of what the law requires. So I say that to you because even if I didn't issue an opinion, the law would still be what it was.
But a month ago, if ICE called the local Minneapolis police and said, we want to arrest this person, will the Minneapolis police help ICE to arrest a person?
I think so, yes.
Well, and now we're at a question of facts.
But see, Mr.
I
Chairman,
think most people are arguing that that's not true and that that's a reason for the surge. If it is true, then the local officials need to say they will. But I mean, the mayor of Minneapolis said used crude language to tell them where to go. He didn't say, oh, we're not going to help you arrest 5-year-old boys because we think that's wrong. But if you have a rapist, we'll help you elect rapists, assault people, thieves, drug kingpins, et cetera. But it doesn't sound like that's what's happening to me. I mean, do you really think that it is happening? They're cooperating?
Yes, I do, Senator.
All right.
And let me just, if you'd allow me just to elaborate, I think that what we're dealing with is a difference of what the scenario is. If you're talking about a person who's been convicted of a crime where in targeted enforcement, you will see Minnesota officials make sure that person is addressed properly and deals with their consequences when it comes to immigration.
So Representative Niska, do you think the local police are cooperating?
Of course they're not. Of course they're not. They were told to stand down. See, the smoking gun is Ellison's own recorded words promising to interfere with an active fraud investigation. When Hawley laid it out, his face said it all. You can't lie your way out of your own voice on recording, and that is why Hawley is demanding criminal indictment, because we have the receipts. This is exactly why the establishment fights Trump so hard, because he threatens their entire corrupt ecosystem. When attorneys generals are taking bribes from people, stealing food money from children, you know the swamp runs deeper than we ever imagined. Ellison thought he could lie his way out, but Hawley brought the receipts. And now we'll see if our justice system has any integrity left, or if being a Democrat attorney general puts you above the law. Yes, the record doesn't lie, even when Keith Ellison does. So do you think that Ellison should be indicted for perjury? Let me know, and while you're at it, check out the Next News merch shop to show your support for real journalism that exposes this corruption.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now. You know out.